You are listening to Mindshock True Crime. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and this is the Columbine Conspiracy Series, the first live Q&A edition, where anyone can ask any questions regarding the Columbine case, one of the most underreported cases regarding the examination of the official narrative and how much of it holds up. Obviously, the Mindshock podcast here, the most extensive, exhaustive, comprehensive analysis of almost every single page of the documents that have been released, going over more than 100 accounts that explicitly do not match the official narrative. Perhaps one of the most mind-shocking revelations is that the follow-up interviews are all typed up by so-called investigators that do not match the handwritten statements of the students there that day. And obviously no shortage of coincidence theorists hallucinating they know better what the students that were there saw that day than the students that were there. They hallucinate to know they know better who students identified, even the students that specifically knew both Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, as well as other individuals like Robert Perry, students that knew all of them and could easily tell them apart. Somehow, the coincidence theorists know better than they do who they saw there that day while not being there. Typical coincidence theorist mentality, allergic to all logic and reason, but Mindshock is not. Here we go over any and all topics with logic and reason at the forefront, attempting not to fall for any logical fallacies, unlike everything else out there, especially in the mainstream media. If you want to help support the Mindshock podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. You could also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. Alright, let's dive right in here, people. You guys can steer the ship. I actually have quite a few more episodes planned in the series because there's just so much to go over. Welcome, Les Xylophone, Amy Bergeron, Jeff U1P, Lord Zed, Sarah Catherine, Pinto Sack, Lord Zed saying they weren't in the Trenchcoat Mafia. What? Lord Zed, but well, it's not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of fact. I went over the citations. Both Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold referred to themselves as in the Trenchcoat Mafia. The other students referred to them as in the Trenchcoat Mafia. Their family said they were in the Trenchcoat Mafia. I mean, there's really nobody disputing that they were in the Trenchcoat Mafia except for certain books or media pieces after the fact. So all statements from both them and their friends and their parents at the time all corroborated that they were, in fact, in the Trenchcoat Mafia. Jeff U1P saying that Mexico incident on the Moon Pyramid had also a link to Columbine recently in the news. Yeah, coincidentally. A lot of coincidental things regarding Columbine, for sure. But yeah, no, them being in the Trenchcoat Mafia is not really disputed. I mean, it's a matter of fact. Now, were they best buddies with every single Trenchcoat Mafia member? No. Did memberships ebb and flow? Sure. Like, one second you're friends with somebody, the next you're not. But they're still friends with other mutual friends. I mean, this is high school, literally. This is high school. So it'd be incredibly inaccurate to say they were not Trenchcoat Mafia members. Dr. Dingledorf saying, lead FBI agent's kid was Trenchcoat Mafia, right? Yeah, not only that, but possibly one of the founding members, if not the founding member. I went over I went over that, where there's conflicting reports on who founded the Trenchcoat Mafia and how. But yeah, there were quite a few kids involved in the years prior that had since graduated or dropped out. Like Joe Stair. And I mean, one of the most bizarre things is how kids that already graduated just continued to randomly show up at the school pretty frequently. And possibly including that day. Many people saw them. Sarah Catherine says there's a song that reminds me of Rachel Scott. It's called If I Die Young by the band Perry. It's really sad. Pinto Sack says, you got some new info for us? I'm not going to specifically be disclosing new info here because this is a live Q&A. So, in the next episode, I'll be going over FBI documents that they did not want to release. Part 2. I did a part 1 on that. There's actually way more. So I'll be going over that specifically on the next episode. But this is a live Q&A, so I'll just be addressing this. Lord Zez says, what's your golden rule? You mean the motto of the podcast? The only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. But we're not even sure about that, though. Because if you apply the motto, if you actually apply it, you can't be sure about not knowing anything for sure, right, Zed? There's a lot of people that aren't in the yearbook. Why would you use the yearbook picture as a metric? There's tons of kids and tons of clubs that don't show up in the yearbook picture. They're still part of the club. Les Xylophone says, I believe Rachel Scott had a suicide pact with Eric and Dylan. Do you have a citation for that? I have not heard that yet. Had not heard that one. So are you saying you can't be sure any of these students even went to Columbine High School, or that there was even a shooting at Columbine? How far are you going to take that? Because if you apply the motto about not being sure that you don't know anything for sure, you wouldn't be sure about that motto, would you? So then there are things you can be sure about. Yeah, I mean, you can question whether or not they were top-ranking members, sure. But, yeah, the Trenchcoat Mafia... How many non-Trenchcoat Mafia members wore trenchcoats to school? That's a question for you, Lord Zed, right? Now, there are memberships that, like I said, ebb and flow. Brooks Brown, for example, was supposedly Trenchcoat Mafia and then no longer Trenchcoat Mafia. He just stopped wearing his trenchcoat to school. So, yeah, I mean, we went over all the documentation, Zed. I mean, come on, you're not new here. No, there's plenty of members that are not in that photo. Are you on crack, Lord Zed? Are you on crack? There's a ton of members that are not in that photo. Do you want to go over each and every one of them? Is that I don't think everybody here wants to just go over your ignorance on the Trenchcoat Mafia, Zed. And obviously friendships overlapped, so there were, like, Eric Harris in particular was incredibly popular. I mean, he had quite a few circles of friends, even at other schools. I mean, yeah, so there was a lot of overlap, and then they had the night missions, the Trenchcoat Mafia night missions. But yeah, here's the yearbook photo you're referring to. But yeah, there's quite a few members here that are not in this photo. Because again, there was a little bit ebb and flow to the memberships on who's friends with who when. But yeah, it is definitely a statement of fact that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were in the Trenchcoat Mafia. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys not in the photo, Lord Zed. Why do you think? I mean, come on, Zed, you're really getting real fallacious. You're getting crazy fallacious. Do you think Every single person in every single high school club is pictured in the yearbook photo of the club. So you don't think there's any people that just either weren't there the day the picture was taken, or they, for whatever reason, didn't feel like being in the picture, were otherwise occupied that day, or maybe they were just pissed off at the people in the club, didn't want to associate with them that day or week. But that doesn't change their affiliation for the rest of the year. It has nothing to do with the media, as Lord said. I'm going by their own statements from their own mouths. Why would they pretend to be part of the Trenchcoat Mafia and say they are if they aren't? That's their circle of friends. Do you think they printed membership cards where they had to pay fees due on a particular date? None of the Trenchcoat Mafia members were under that kind of formal membership. Les Xylophone said it would make sense that she heard Eric and Dylan speaking about it, maybe at the smokers' tables. Dylan did save her play with a mixtape, so they were close, just like with Brooks. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure they were close, though. They obviously had interactions, and they knew each other. I haven't seen anything that demonstrated that they were actually close. But she's a big question mark, for sure, in her family as well. Les Xylophone says, Dwayne Fusilier is leader of the Trenchcoat Mafia. That is one of the claimed leaders, yes. Well, again, Lord Zed, this is Logic 101. Not every single student in every single club that is actually a member of the club appears in the yearbook photo. Some kids don't even appear in the yearbook at all. Does that mean they weren't students at the high school? You don't know about the not pictured section, Lord Zed? You don't know anything about yearbooks? I mean, there's tons of students in every single high school that are not pictured in the yearbook. That doesn't mean that they're not official students at the school. They are members of the school, even if they are not in the yearbook. Les Xylophone says, that's who Morris went to go see in Robert Anderson's redacted paragraph. How do you know that? Robert Anderson's redacted paragraph is, or there's actually more than one, is one of the most fascinating aspects of the case for sure. I'll bring it up here. So this is document 001010635. When asked who devised the label of Trenchcoat Mafia, Robert Anderson replied that initially she believed that Chris Morris attended a meeting some time ago to represent the Trenchcoat Mafia for their induction into this national organization. She then stated that no one else from Columbine High School attended this national level meeting and that the name Trenchcoat Mafia was just adopted by that group at her school. She and then redacted a bunch. She also stated he wears a very dark green color beret that looks black. She stated that as far as she has been told by Chris Morris, he is the only official member of the Trenchcoat Mafia, and that she feels he looks down on the others since they are not official members. And when she says official, I'm assuming here she's referring to the national organization, not the club at the school, which is just a generic club name, a circle of friends. It is not that official, like Lord Zed is pretending it's official. It's simply a circle of friends, which obviously included Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. Les Xylophone says, all signs point to Dwayne. Well, it's a possibility for sure. Wallflower 2007 says, Bruce, have you noticed that in Brooks Brown's 911 call, he claims to have seen a shooter walk into the school, but never brings this up again in his official story? Let's go over that. That's a good thing to go over. Let's go over that right now. Les Xylophone says Morris was a groomer / handler. I'm not sure. I'm not sure to what level they were MK Ultra, because even in Chris Morris's phone call, I don't know, he almost sounds like a scared kid. I don't know. How much do you think he was acting in official capacity versus simply being MK Ultra?
I know.
Let's go over one of these earlier interviews from Brooks Brown as we dive into Brooks Brown, one of the biggest enigmas in this case.
I've known him for so long. I've known him for so long. He wasn't that violent of a person ever.
Did you ever hear him talk about hating the jocks or hating black people or...
Everyone at our school talks about hating one group or another, but he always did it jokingly.
What about these reports that they were picking out black people to deliberately shoot them?
No, they weren't racist. They hated everybody. As sick and demented as that may be, they didn't mean anything by it.
What do you think happened to your friend Dylan?
He's a follower. He just got taken into Eric, because Eric helped him get attention. Dylan and Eric were never liked by anyone.
And Dylan's parents are going through a terrible time.
Yeah, I've just been watching a lot of the news shows, and I know that they've been putting them off as kind of like these horrible parents, what did they do to make their kid turn out like this? And they didn't do anything. I mean, they were nice people. I mean, I've known Dylan since I was 5.
Dylan went to the prom on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Nothing unusual happened?
No, they had a great time. My friend went with them. My friend doubled with Dylan and his date, and they had a great time. There's nothing. You could not have seen this coming a million years away.
Could not have seen this coming despite countless months of chatter regarding it happening. So I think Brooks is just distancing himself like all the others have, even that had inside knowledge.
Are you going to be okay?
Probably not. I know I'm not going to be able to go back to Columbine. Ever. 2 of my really good friends shot and killed people there. And I have another couple of friends that are on the missing list. I have a number of friends who are in hospitals right now in surgery. I'm never going to be able to go back there.
Just a quick aside here. I don't know why I'm compelled to say this, but I'm going to say this because it jumps out at me, and this is a totally genuine show. Notice how adult and mature, even in just the terminology, the verbiage of everything Brooks Brown is. If this happened today, look at teenagers today. They're so immature. They're just mentally so devolved, IQ-wise. That just jumped out at me there. Like, he's actually able to process and elucidate certain things. Now, how much of it he's spewing, he's intentionally BSing or not, I mean, that would only point to even greater maturity and intellectual capacity, morality aside here. So let's look at let me catch up on the comments and we'll look at the 911 calls here. Lord Zed's really melting down here regarding the Trenchcoat Mafia label. There were several groups of friends that overlapped. Eric and Dylan did have friends outside of the Trenchcoat Mafia who they hung out with, and there were certain friends that were formerly Trenchcoat Mafia that were no longer Trenchcoat Mafia that they remained friends with. I mean, this is really simple stuff, Lord Zed. Very, very simple. Oh yeah, Les Alphonse said, just like Nate Dykman's interviews, it was hella scripted and his dad fumbled the script. Oh wow, Dykman's another one, yeah, with the car involvement. There's a lot of weird stuff with Dykman, and he's getting out of Dodge real quick. Let's look at the 911 calls here.
County 911. We have some information we think might be important about the shooting.
And Randy Brown is also highly suspect. I think was he a moderator on one of the Reddits? I think it was it him or somebody else, but they banned me from all of the Columbine Reddits, so that should tell you something. They are absolutely terrified of logical, objective, neutral examination into the Columbine case.
Columbine?
Okay, what is it, sir?
We know who the kids are?
Okay, and do you have names?
Yes.
Go ahead with them.
We're sure about Eric Harris.
Eric Harris.
My son saw him, and my son will play with him.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, what's your name?
Brooks Brown.
Okay, Bruce, what other names do you have besides Eric?
I have major possibilities.
Okay.
Dylan Klebold.
Yeah, I got his.
Was anybody able to get their hands on an unredacted version of this? Let Xylophone says, I was banned from the Columbine subreddit for calling Randy out. Yeah, a lot of illogical goofery. They're absolutely terrified of logical, objective, neutral discussion. Dr. Dingledorf says, what mind control, government, or otherwise connections are there? Yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton. I haven't even finished going over them. One of the biggest ones is the Eric Harris supposedly had some kind of handler that he went to once a week. We went over that before. Just not a lot of information on it, as one would expect there not to be. Was anybody able to get their hands on the unredacted 911 audio here? Because this is either they're conveniently changing the tape, or they censored it, because he named other people here.
It would be, if there are three, it would be the only possibility.
If there aren't three, so he's pretty sure there are three. And there possibly could be more. So is he saying if there aren't just three? And he named a whole bunch. All very curious here.
Okay. Did you see them at all?
I saw Eric
Okay.
right before the shooting.
Are you okay?
I'm like freaking out because he basically handed me my life on a platter. He told me, Brooks, I'd like you to leave. And as I'm walking down the street, because I take Eric very seriously, as I'm walking down the street, the cops started going out, and I'm like,
Okay. You need to calm down. Okay. You're lucky you're safe now. Okay. We're doing a debriefing over at Leewood Elementary. And if you can, you and your dad go over there.
all right,
You can tell the investigators what you saw and what Eric said to you. Okay?
At Leewood?
Yeah, Leewood Elementary.
1 second.
Thank you, Brooks.
This has to do with Columbine.
Okay.
I can guarantee you those three people that were just picked up are not the shooters.
Okay.
Because I will positively, I witnessed one of the shooters walk into the school. I know who he was, and I know his hair color, and all those three guys, none of them matched it.
So is he talking about Eric here, or is he talking about somebody else? I think most people would assume he's talking about Eric Harris right there. What are you referring to, Les Xylophone? Les Xylophone says, he blocked me because I said if Brooks was innocent, why wasn't the parking lot camera video released that would absolve him? Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, I wouldn't have phrased it that way, but yeah, I mean, I just ask questions. I don't make presuppositions, but they can't handle the certain questions being asked because they have a vested interest in a certain narrative being the only narrative that is available. So, Les Xylophone, are you saying he's not referencing... I think most people would assume, again, just an assumption, would assume he's talking about Eric Harrison.
And I know how they think. There's no way that they're this stupid.
Okay. We'll let our SWAT team know. Can I get your name?
My name is Brooks Brown. I've called a number of times. Eric is one of them. I know that.
Okay, Bruce, can you phone number?
3 Cassidy en route to the... Yeah.
All right, we'll let him know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
We have some information on Columbine.
Okay.
147, we got 9, just left that southeast door here.
Familiar with the I think they're in the light booth of the auditorium.
The what booth?
The light booth is
Okay.
right at the top of the auditorium behind us. There's a window. Just a minute, my son.
That's interesting that they're saying that they're in a light booth at the top of the auditorium. Now, keep in mind, I went over this before as well. Multiple shots were heard while Eric and Dylan were together in different parts of the building. So, for example, when they were in the cafeteria, there were shots being heard in the library, in the administrative hallway. And when they were in the library, there were shots being heard elsewhere in the building as well, including reports from the auditorium.
Hey. Hi, I've worked with one of the people I'm positive is the shooter.
Okay, who's the shooter you thinking?
Eric Harris, I'm positive about.
Did you see him?
He told me.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure the others, I don't really want to name names, but
There's light booth, top of the auditorium?
in the back of the auditorium, I think they're either upstairs in that, or they're on the catwalk, or the loft on that.
Wow, that's a lot of different places. The back of the auditorium, or the catwalk, or the lawn. It's a lot of places. When they're supposedly in the library, this is very curious, isn't it?
Stage.
Okay.
Just because they play like.
Okay. And what's your name?
My name is Brooks Brown. I knew that when I called you today.
Okay, Brooks, I'll let them know.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
So that's that call there by Brooks Brown. Very curious. Very curious. Les Xylophone says, to believe the white shirt he's wearing in his interview is the same one folks ID'd him on the 20th, screaming go and throwing bombs. I don't believe that was him. Are you saying, Les Xylophone, you think... Yeah, Les Xylophone, if you want me... I mean... Here, hold on a second. You've been here forever. Let's get you, Let's get you your, moderator title here. You can post links directly in the chat now. You should be able to if you want to post links to screenshots. I can put them on the screen as well. Les Xylophone says, I think Brooks was the white shirt bomber. I thought that was somebody older. That's interesting. I don't think I remember anybody IDing Brooks as the white shirt bomber. I might have to reread a lot of that with that in mind. For some reason, I thought that was someone who didn't go to Columbine. So either somebody who had previously graduated or one of their friends from the neighboring high schools that was in the Trenchcoat Mafia. Does anybody else in the chat have any thoughts on this? Yeah, Les Alphon said he even says he walked away from Eric and heard shots go off. Yeah, I do remember that. So it wasn't Eric. For some reason, yeah, I have to, wait a second. Chris Wisher was one of the main guys who saw the white shirt bomber, right? Let's look at his account again. Wouldn't he have been able to ID Brooks? Let's look at the clip here. This is Chris Wisher, one of the most damning accounts. And this is actually one of the first accounts I looked into when I was re-examining Columbine. WhatReallyHappened.com. This was posted 8 years after Columbine. It's titled Columbine 8 Years Later. And it just says here, submitted by a reader. There is no name here. Columbine, 101 witnesses. Can't be wrong. And, of course, reference will be made to the 11K report, and this was, of course, Jefferson County's document release, November 21st, 2000, 11,000 pages of witness testimony. Some of it is heavily redacted, and one also has to wonder, what is not released? How many thousands of pages are not released that include even more damning testimony or information than what is released? But the fact that there's so much in what already was released, how can one not question what was not released? But let's continue here. According to the final report of the investigation, only 2 people, Eric Harris, 18, and Dylan Klebold, 17, planned and executed the mass shooting at Columbine High School outside Littleton, Colorado on April 20th, 1999, leaving 15 dead and 23 wounded. But at least 101 eye and ear witnesses remembered it differently. 1. Chris Wisher, sophomore, page 1261. He turned and saw 2 guys carrying shotguns and wearing black trench coats. A 3rd guy, wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, was seen throwing bombs onto the roof. So we have a 3rd individual spotted by Chris Wisher. Now, to those that saying this was some kind of misinterpretation, we have a video interview with Chris Wisher. Let's listen to it right now.
This is Channel 4 Live. Can you tell us your name, please?
Chris Wisher.
Chris, where were you?
I was in back of the school behind the cafeteria when we heard what sounded like fireworks. So we went back. We started running. We came back. We just figured it was fireworks. We looked up. We saw 2 kids in trench coats with guns and another kid just standing there on the side of the school in white. We saw him. One of them turned at us, started shooting.
Toward you?
Yeah, towards us. We were probably 100 yards away. We fell to the ground, and then the bullets stopped. I don't know what he was doing. He might have been reloading or something. So we got back up. We looked over. We saw the kid in the white throwing the bombs on top of the school. It's some kind of grenade or something. I don't know what it was.
And he was dressed in white?
He was wearing a white shirt, yes. And I don't know whether he was armed or not with a gun. And at that time, we just ran.
Please don't give us any names, but did you recognize these students?
Yeah, I thought I recognized one of them.
As a current student?
Yeah.
Okay, glad you're...
So, I don't know if he's... I don't know if it's... We're just guessing here whether he was referencing if he recognized the one in the white shirt or not. Or he recognized either Eric or Dylan.
Okay, have you reconnected with your mom and dad now?
Yeah, I've talked to them. They're probably watching right now.
Well, I hope you're okay. Thanks so much for talking, Carol. You know, we're with Chris. You're one of the ones who said you saw the gunman shooting at you.
Yes.
Correct? He was shooting at you.
Yeah.
Now, you say you saw police just arrest him?
Well,
Please don't give us a name on the air, but go ahead and tell us what happened.
He got in a black police car. Police had a lot of security around him. It's the kid that I've seen around school a lot. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'm not gonna say it's a 100% guarantee that was him, but I'm almost positive it was.
Is he the one you believed was shooting at you on the playground today?
Yes, I believe it was.
How can we misinterpret that? Chris Wisher here is stating that the 3rd suspect was arrested, or possibly another shooting suspect, another shooter was arrested. He is stating here he saw the shooter. Now, he does say he's not 100% positive, but he's stating that he saw somebody shooting at him get arrested. Curious.
Was he dressed in a trench coat?
Yeah. Well, when they just took him away, he wasn't, but he was then.
Was he handcuffed?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's referring to Chris Morris here, possibly.
Was he talking? Were police...
He was just quiet.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. I know that's emotional for you. I'm sorry you're upset. Thanks so much for talking to us. Again, he describes the situation where they were out on the grounds of the school at lunchtime. That this person in a trench coat started shooting directly at them. They hit the ground, and then they just came running up to say that they saw that particular person. They believe that particular suspect was just loaded into a police car. Christina Yao is here. Maybe you can.
Okay, so you could say he's mistaken, but the coincidence theorist pretending and hallucinating that something was lost in translation, we have it here on video. Not all of the news footage was completely scrubbed. Some of it is still available on the internet. Some of it was FOIA'd, some of it was gotten by various researchers, some of it was simply archived. There was a lot more on YouTube back in the day, years and years ago. Most of it has been scrubbed. Most of the questionable stuff has been scrubbed, coincidentally. But some of it remains. Some of it was saved by people and re-uploaded. So that is Chris Wisher's account. In no uncertain terms, he is clearly stating there were 3 individuals, one of them in a white t-shirt and jeans, now he didn't mention the jeans in this video interview, but it's mentioned in the 11K report, that this individual was throwing grenades, and he's saying another individual who was shooting at him was just arrested. He does state he's not 100% positive, but he believes it was this individual. Who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but we have it from his mouth. So all the coincidence theorists out there, there's no misinterpretation here. This is what he stated. So let's look at through the 11K documents. This is interview with Chris Wisher on 4/20/99 at about 1600, 10 hours. I was contacted by Chris Wisher in the parking lot of Clement Park. Wisher stated he had already been interviewed previously, but that he wished to contact me and provide me with further information. And this is written by reporting officer Moore. So Wisher is going to the officer with further info because he identified an individual, not Klebold and Harris. So here it is. Wisher stated that he was behind the school by the cafeteria when he heard what he thought was fireworks going off. Wisher said he saw 2 kids in trench coats and described one of the kids as wearing a white t-shirt and throwing bombs on the school. So 2 kids in trench coats, 1 kid not in a trench coat, t-shirt, throwing bombs. Wisher said he was not positive, but he believed one of the suspects was redacted. Wisher said that the other kid in the trench coat fired a shotgun at him, and that at this time he knew what was going on was real. And just for clarification, Klebold and Harris's names are not redacted. So when there are redacted names, also the length of the words of redacted are various lengths as well, so you can kind of see that he's not talking about Klebold or Harris in certain situations when Klebold or Harris is also mentioned in the same sentence that is not redacted. Wisher stated that the other suspect in the trench coat had an automatic rifle. Wisher stated that after the incident started, he ran from the scene through a field and waved down a car and went to someone's house and called 911. Wisher stated that his first interview was in more detail as to what occurred at this time. Wisher stated the reason he wished to contact me was the fact that a reporter had contacted him while he was standing outside the crime scene tape, and the reporter knew that Wisher had been interviewed by law enforcement officers. He stated the reporter asked him if the kid that was sitting in the red van being interviewed by law enforcement officials was one of the suspects. Note, the person in the red van being interviewed was redacted. Wisher stated that the reporter asked him to go up to the van and look and see if that was one of the suspects and to let him know. Wisher stated he looked at redacted and then told the reporter that it looked like one of the suspects, but he could not tell him for sure if it was. I then asked Wisher if the person in the van was one of the suspects he saw. He told me that redacted looked like one of them, but he could not tell me it was one of them. He stated he was unsure if this was the same person he had seen in the parking lot. Many speculate he's talking about Brooks Brown here, and that it was also not the person in the white shirt. So I'm looking through some of the documents right now. There were 2 white shirt individuals described. One of them had a white dress type shirt, like a button-up, not a t-shirt. So there was more than one individual identified with a white shirt. So, yeah. And also, obviously, a white shirt and jeans. I mean, isn't that the most popular outfit ever? So that doesn't really narrow it down, even if Brooks Brown did match that. Flat Bob in the chat saying there's more red flags around this event than the Chinese embassy. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. How many people think it's Brooks Brown being described as the white t-shirt bomber that was lobbing bombs from the roof? Does that match the timeline, though, as Brooks was leaving? I'm not sure that all matches up, because there were quite a few witnesses that described the white t-shirt bomber. I think after the time that Brooks would have already left. Obviously I'm not 100% on this, but we need like an AI map of where everyone was at all times. I'm going to start working on that. An interactive map of where everyone was at all reported. Because that would be helpful. But from my recollection on the students that were fleeing that mentioned the white t-shirt bomber, I think that might have been after Brooks had already left. Which was an older individual in their 30s, according to others. Again, I'm just mixing and matching here to see who saw what. This is the FBI document that follows here. Again, you can find this all in the 11K reports. This was dated April 28, 1999. April 27, 1999, Christopher Howard Wisher, date of birth March 1983, of his address, Littleton, Colorado, telephone number, stated his telephone number here, was interviewed at this residence in the presence of his father, Howard E. Wisher, date of birth April 12, 1949. After advisement of the identity of the interviewing agent and the nature of the interview, he provided the following information. Wisher is a sophomore at Columbine High School. He normally eats lunch during fourth period, which he has free, and at the end of the period at 11:10, he and his friends normally go outside. On April 20th, 1999, just prior to the 11:15 bell, he and his friends, Jake Abodaka, Josh Chavez, and John, last name unknown. That's curious. The FBI doesn't even know the last names of the student, and they couldn't verify with the yearbook. Weird. We're sitting at a table inside the cafeteria near the south window, which faces a parking lot. Wisher saw Dylan Klebold walk into the southwest entrance to the cafeteria from the parking lot. He was dressed all in black, with black trousers, black shirt, black boots, a black trench coat, and a black Colorado Avalanche hat worn backwards. You know, the other thing, too, how come nobody after the fact identified Brooks Brown, right? Because after the fact, people were IDing Eric, Dylan, and Robert Perry, and Chris Morris. I haven't seen a single report where Brooks was specifically ID'd as the white shirt bomber. Am I missing something, Les Telephone? Or anybody else in here? Am I missing something? Has anybody actually ID'd Brooks Brown as the white t-shirt bomber after the fact? Like, for example, seeing Brooks Brown and doing TV interviews, they're like, wait a second, that's the guy that was lobbing bombs. Has anybody, has that happened? Which had a Boston Red Sox emblem sewn on it. Wisher does not recall Klebold carrying anything and saw him walk over to the vending machines in the cafeteria. According to Wisher, during lunch, Klebold and Eric Harris would normally sit in Klebold's BMW in the parking lot on the south side of the cafeteria and watch people. Wisher only knows Klebold and Harris by sight, so he knows Klebold and Harris and what they look like. He's not friends with them personally. He doesn't know them, as they're stating here. He's not good friends with them or anything. He only knows them, basically who they are in general, and can identify from a distance. After the 11:15 bell, Wisher and his friends walked out of the southwest exit of the cafeteria towards the soccer field. He heard a sound which sounded like fireworks, similar to a string of Black Cat firecrackers going off. Wisher indicated that prior to April 20th, 1999, he had never heard gunfire. About 50 yards away, outside on the west side of the cafeteria, he saw a tall, white male dressed all in black with a black trench coat and what he thinks was a black hat and dark sunglasses.
At the time, he did not recognize this person, but thought it might be redacted. A member of the Trenchcoat Mafia who is about the same height and build. And to all the coincidence theorists and those attempting to rewrite the narrative of Columbine, the official narrative, the Trenchcoat Mafia being a myth was kind of instituted as well, but you'll hear many, many students refer to the Trenchcoat Mafia and members of the Trenchcoat Mafia. So to the goofs that try to pretend the Trenchcoat Mafia never even existed, that's quite silly. Now, supposedly, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were not official members of the Trenchcoat Mafia. They simply were friends with members of the Trenchcoat Mafia. So, and they hung out with members of the Trenchcoat Mafia. So to those saying the Trenchcoat Mafia wasn't even real, you have countless references. It's in all the FBI reports, the police reports, the eyewitnesses who were present, who actually went to the school and were familiar with the Trenchcoat Mafia and Trenchcoat Mafia members. So all of this information, the devout coincidence theorists and authority-worshipping cultists who believed whatever they saw in the idiot box for the rewritten narrative, and some of them maintained there's no Trenchcoat Mafia. Okay. So Wisher saw this person shoot at 3 students near the southwest corner of the cafeteria with what he thinks was a shotgun based upon the loud noise and the slower rate of fire. This shooter then pointed the shotgun at Wisher and his friends and fired 4 or 5 shots at them. Wisher and his friends fell to the ground, covered their heads. When Wisher looked up, he saw the gunman walking towards the southwest cafeteria entrance. Wisher also saw a white male dressed in a white short-sleeved t-shirt and blue jeans kneeling with his back to him near the northwest corner of the cafeteria. He did not recognize this person, and since his back was to him, could only tell he had either light brown or blonde hair. This person had no weapon nor other gear visible. Wisher saw this person throw an object one-handed on top of the cafeteria library roof. It appeared metallic with sunlight glinting off of it. 1 or 2 seconds after landing, it exploded with a loud bang, a flash of fire, and a pall of smoke. While he observed the person in the black trench coat shooting outside and the person in the white t-shirt throwing the explosive device, he also heard very rapid gunfire coming from somewhere within the school. Let me read that part again. While he observed the person in the black trench coat shooting outside and the person in the white t-shirt throwing the explosive device, he also heard very rapid gunfire coming from somewhere within the school. Wisher was unable to see who was doing the shooting or tell exactly from where inside the school it was coming from. After this person threw the bomb, Wisher and his friends got up and ran to a nearby house on Teller Street, where Wisher called his father to let him know he was safe. Howard Wisher indicated he noted the time of the call as 11:20 a.m. Wisher knows 2 members of the Trenchcoat Mafia, Joe Stair, a former Columbine student who graduated last year, and Chris Morris. He spoke with Morris once about the sport of paintball, which they both play. Wisher indicated Morris normally sits by himself at a table on the south side of the cafeteria near the window, but he cannot recall if he saw him in the cafeteria on April 20th, 1999. So that's actually quite curious, because I don't know if Morris and Joe Stair's names are not redacted because they're not being accused here. They're simply members of the Trenchcoat Mafia. They're not directly named. I don't know if these particular names are redacted elsewhere where they're being accused of being shooters. That's unclear to me, so I don't know what to make of that, because I believe other individuals named Joe Stair and Chris Morris as shooters, and they might have those names redacted elsewhere, but in this particular area of the document, it's curious, because does that mean Wisher is not referring to either one of them, since it's just curious the way that it would be written into this report. Now, what's also curious in some of these follow-up reports, including with Wisher, apparently he's being convinced by investigators, because he's shown pictures of Harris, and coincidentally, one of the agents is Special Agent Harris. I'm assuming no relation to Eric Harris. This is Special Agent Matthew Harris, who first interviewed Christopher Wisher. And they showed him all these pictures, and again, this is all in the report here. Wisher stated he was almost positive it was not redacted. Then the investigator told Wisher that redacted was not at the school at the beginning of the incident. Wisher replied, "Then I guess it is not him." So is this a weird attempt, not necessarily at intimidation, but at controlling the narrative after the fact?
That is kind of weird, right? How they're trying to gaslight Chris Wisher, saying that this individual wasn't there. That is interesting.
Because this follow-up report is October 13th, 1999. I mean, this is months and months later. The incident is no longer fresh in his mind, and the investigator might be telling him the guy that he identified was not at the school. We also don't know the tone of this interview. Because if this is an intimidation-type interview where they're trying to get him to change his story, either way, the original reports, the original accounts, he's clearly stating he knew both Klebold and Harris. He's clearly stating that the other individual is not them. He's clearly stating there are 3 individuals. He's also stating that while 2 of the individuals were in his view, someone else was shooting inside the school.
So that's kind of curious, isn't it? Coincidence theorists can't explain that. All right, who's ready for a mind shock? I'm gonna put up something new I haven't put up before. Who's ready for a mind shock? Let's go to the FBI files. This is document 1627. Videotape of slayings may exist. Columbine had surveillance camera in the library, but officials say they don't know if the system was on. I'm going to go over the whole article here. Again, this is document 1627. So this is official admission that there's a camera inside the library, not just the library hallway camera, which is openly admitted. That footage has never been released. So what is this? Because I've never gone over this article before, but I just find it strange how coincidence theorists maintain that there were no other cameras when it's openly admitted that there's tons of cameras in the school. There's parking lot cameras. Alright, Les Xylophone, you want to put Randy Brown on blast? We can do that. Alright, let's go over this real quick. So, I mean, this is just weird by the coincidence theorists who claim that there's no library camera. Now, I really don't remember... I don't remember all of the news footage that day. Many people say they actually released frames from the library camera that day, but I don't know. I don't know that. I don't remember that myself. I don't know if people are misremembering. So here's the article here. Columbine had surveillance camera in the library, but officials say they don't know if the system was on. The grim possibility exists that some, maybe even all, of Tuesday's massacre at Columbine High School was captured by a security camera. Investigators acknowledged Thursday that a video surveillance system is located in the library, not outside of the library, in the library. So, can anyone recall a single other case of a shooting where days later investigators are making official statements that there's a camera inside an area where a shooting took place if there is no such camera. Where 10 teenagers and the two gunmen died, and the father of one student said cameras also overlook the commons area and hallways at the sprawling school. So here we have direct reference to not just the camera in the library, but several cameras in the commons area and hallways, multiple hallways. That would include the administration area hallway and the library hallway. Fred Maten, whose children attend Columbine, said he believes that at least 4 cameras are located in the first floor commons area where the shooting started late Tuesday morning. 4? 4 cameras in the common? That's crazy. I want to know why we don't know what happened to the camera surveillance, he said. Where are the tapes that were in those cameras? Jefferson County Sheriff Sergeant Jim Parr said it was too early to know whether the tapes exist that show any of the mayhem that erupted when the 2 teenagers armed with guns and bombs walked into the school and calmly started picking off their classmates and teachers. So notice again here, nobody's denying the existence of the cameras. They're just saying they don't know where the tapes are. Because why would there be tapes, right? Everybody has camera systems with no tapes. I mean, this isn't some kind of low-budget gas station where they just put security cameras up to deter criminals. I mean, this is specifically for monitoring school activity. Jeff U1P says probably a hit on the dark web. Heard some rumors, but I can't remember for sure because I'm not an American. In this case, interested me less that time. You know what? Like, the thing about some of the dark web stuff is if it really existed, there's a lot of retards on the dark web. They would totally repost it just on 4chan or wherever. And I mean, I don't know. I don't go on the dark web, so... But just basic logic. I mean, they repost tons of, like, real-life shootings and murders and all that stuff from the dark web onto the actual web. When it was over, 15 people, including the 2 gunmen, lay dead, 23 hospitalized. Parr said he was not sure, for example, whether the security system in the library was working Tuesday or whether investigators had recovered any tapes. Parr said if any tapes exist, they are not likely to ever be released to the news media or the public. But notice how nobody's denying the existence of the cameras. They're focused on the tapes. So, are coincidence theorists saying that all of these police investigators are so utterly incompetent they couldn't even verify whether the camera existed? So, I did ask, a few students have told me that they actually do not remember there being a camera inside the library, and that there was and people used to go to the library to make out and stuff. And so, there was a camera outside of the library. So that's interesting. So what does that mean? Was there a hidden camera that the students didn't know about? Because supposedly Eric and Dylan and others hacked the school system. Now I don't know if they hacked... I mean, I think one of their friends worked in the video room, but I don't know if that had anything to do with the video surveillance, right? We need to find more information about that. You know what would be crazy if they picked the library specifically because they knew there was a camera in there? I don't know. This is weird. This is pretty weird. Why is this article, this is FBI document 1627, specifically citing, this is 2 days later. This isn't immediately that day where people are confused and running around. This is days later when now, everybody's getting their story straight and making official statements. So they're trying to do damage control by saying, and how did the cops not know 2 days later whether there were tapes in the cameras? Does this read like they know there were cameras, they know there were tapes, they have the tapes, and they want to pretend there were no tapes so they don't have to release anything because it might not match the official narrative? How does this article read to people? How does this read to people? Thanks for the super chat, Manny. Please do a Connecticut incident special. You're great at this. I did one, but not a real deep dive because this is YouTube. YouTube doesn't like the Connecticut incident. But perhaps I do need to do one on Rumble. Les Xylophone says Jeffco knew. Knew what? That there were tapes? Les Xylophone says it's the richest county in Colorado. Yeah, no doubt. They definitely had tapes. So they can recover the cafeteria tapes day of, but they can't recover library tape day of, or even next day, or even 2 days later? How does this read to everybody? How can they recover tapes from the cafeteria day of and release them day of, but not after they went, not before going to Quantico? Keep in mind, before the cafeteria footage was released, for whatever reason, it had to be sent to Quantico first. Then it was released to the news. So, but here, how does this read? How is it possible they did not recover the tapes? This means they have the tapes. I'm trying to find something right now to see if it's possible. I'm trying to see if it's possible to discern from photo or video taken afterwards in the library if you could see a camera mounted on the wall, but most of the angles are not pointed up. Just give me a second here. It's really slow, but so Bulletproof on Daily Motion here has an analysis in the library. I'm looking through it. Yeah, all the cameras are pointed. The camera of the walkthrough of the library in the aftermath, it doesn't point up. Conveniently, it does not point up. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just not high enough. It's not high enough. They're all pointed down. So, I mean, I'll put some images up here, but the camera's just not high enough to make out if there's a mounted security camera anywhere. See? Like, it would be above the top of the shelf. But it just doesn't show that. It does not show that. That area. Yeah, everything's pointed down here. Hold on a second. What is this? Okay, whoa. I think I just found some that are pointed a little higher. But I don't know if it's enough. That's not enough. It might not. Oh, whoa. Might have found something here. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Alright, this is an Instagram reel. Let's see what we got here. So, can't really tell what's on the wall there. No idea. Where are the cameras claimed to be? So we have something here. I can't tell what that is. Then we have something here. That almost looks like a projector right there, but I don't know what would the camera have looked like back then. Would it be a bulky security camera? I'm trying to find a photo of the cafeteria where the security camera's video is visible in the cafeteria. So here's a video I found. Hold on, we're going to take a look at the video in a second. But I wonder if what I circled here actually is the security camera in the library. Because it looks like they were attached to the projectors. So we're going to watch this video in a second. How school security has changed since Columbine. So on the right are the modern ones. And then you see on the left, it looks like cameras used to be attached to projectors? Is that what this video is saying? I mean, I don't know. We're going to watch the video in a second. But what I just circled looks possibly like a camera attached to the projector. So, yeah, is that the security camera that they claim don't exist? There's also something here, but this, I don't know. For some reason, this does not look like a camera to me. But that possibly. So let's watch this video here. Maybe it'll give some clues. Fair use, obviously, here.
Well, now that 25 years passed since the tragedy at Columbine High School, we're looking at the lasting impact.
And school safety saw some of the most dramatic changes over the years. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at what's working and measures falling out of favor.
Unfortunately, there have been other school shootings since Columbine. We study each of those to understand what led to them, and I think those all influence the training and work that we do here in Jeffco.
According to the National Center for Education Statistics, nearly every school in the U.S., 96%, now has a written plan for an active shooter situation. The majority of schools now take steps to secure buildings and classrooms. Campuses have also invested in panic buttons, metal detectors, and cameras. If you want to visit your kid, be prepared to show some ID.
We wouldn't have seen any of that 25 years ago. Our schools were just an open environment that people could come in.
Jeff Pearson, the executive director of safety for Jeffco Public Schools, talked to us about the evolution of school security in the last 25 years. He oversees 160 school safety personnel. Some are armed. The district, which Columbine High School is a part of, even has its own 911 dispatch center.
We've been forced into the gold standard. I think the only district with 3 school shootings across the nation.
Jeff walked us through the Frank DeAngelis Community Safety Center in Wheat Ridge, a decommissioned elementary school turned training ground for law enforcement and educators around the country.
We can give different scenarios, whether it's just de-escalation, it could be force on force, but the ability to walk into a facility and truly train an environment where there's audible, there's sense of smell. We've got sounds of a true environment here.
What would you see on a school campus now that you wouldn't see 25 years ago?
You'd see SROs for sure.
In recent years, there's growing concern about traumatizing students. Advocates have pushed back on over-policing schools, and the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned against having students participate in active shooter drills that are too realistic.
I would say we steered a little bit from trying to be overprotective and provide kind of a prison mentality in our schools.
Meanwhile, anonymous reporting systems have become an invaluable resource.
Yeah, it looks like they're not actually going to get into the models, but I thought it was kind of curious, the thumbnail, though.
In preventing tragedy.
From what I'm looking at, it looks like they recorded to VHS, but I don't think they were the dome style, because that, in the 90s, did they have dome style in the 90s?
Safety. Total.
Yeah, there's nothing here. This was useless.
Talk to us about
the thumbnail. I thought was interesting. I thought the thumbnail was interesting. What kind of a system it is? If it's connected, and whether or not it was run off the same circuitry as the projectors. But let's keep looking here. In this video, there's a couple more shots here, because it might not be that one. But at least you could see the top, but I don't think anybody could, yeah, they wouldn't have the security camera by the window, but at least these photos are high enough where you might see it if it's in the background somewhere. Yeah, this is the only image. So it may or may not be right here. Or possibly here. There's a whole contraption here. I don't know what this is, but it's a whole contraption there. I wonder, hold on, let me see if I could find photos of the cameras from the library hallway or anywhere else. Okay, let's look at the library hallway where there is a 100% confirmed camera. So, what do we got here? I don't see it. I don't see it. Is it... It's not... That looks like a sprinkler, right? That's a sprinkler. Is that a sprinkler or a camera? Looks like a sprinkler to me. Where else could it be? This looks like some kind of, or is this a sprinkler and that's the camera? What is this? So, there's something here that's not here. Is that is that bullet or shrapnel or something? But it's not here, so that's uneven. And then what is this? This looks like a loudspeaker to me. This box, right? Or is it just, yeah, some kind of speaker? So fire alarm here, then some kind of speaker here. Where's the camera? So supposedly it's confirmed that there's a camera in the library hallway. Unless this is a mislabeled image. Is this not the library hallway? Oh, is this just the main hallway? Ah, okay, so this is not the library hallway? Why is this labeled? Wait, wait a second, but wouldn't there also, wasn't there 4 cameras in the common area? So there should be a camera here too, right? There should be a camera in this hallway as well, if this is the main hallway. Yeah, this is not the this looks like it's the main hallway, this is a media center. So this is a common area. Supposedly there are cameras in the common areas. Let's look at the library hallway camera. So, this is the library hallway, and I do not know. What is this? Is that it? I can't tell. I can't tell. Maybe that's a camera? These are all such terrible quality images. So it would be the big bulky style. They wouldn't be, because this is in the 90s. Did they have those dome? Okay, let me look that up real quick. Okay, so apparently they did. I don't remember seeing them back then. Huh. It's weird. Apparently they came out in the 80s, but... Apparently 19% of schools had security cameras in 1999. That's a lot higher than I would have guessed. It's a lot higher than I would have guessed. So here's another image from further away of the library hallway with the stairs. Yeah, it's too hard to make anything out. Where would the security camera be? Austin MP says they should do a new season of True Detective with Bruce McGuire and Eddie Bravo. That'd be awesome. Jojo96 says, can't say for certain that there were cameras in this library here, but all the schools I attended in the past had cameras in the library and outside the library doors looking through the hall. What year? What years? Jeff says, could be the arch on the... behind the arch on the ceiling. Jeff says, no dome style in the 90s if I remember right. Always these giant rectangular block cams with a small cylinder in front with the lens and a little cable in the back. Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what I remember. Les on the phone says, if they had metal detectors, they definitely had cameras. Yeah, supposedly a lot of cameras, too. So, that one parent said there were 4. So, these are parents that picked their kids up from school, possibly have been in the school for meetings, you know, all that stuff. They're saying 4 in the common areas. And this one article said that there was a camera inside the library, and then a lot of people know about the camera in the library hallway. Then there was also a camera in the administrative hallway and in the parking lot, overlooking the parking lots. Here's another photo. I don't know if this is the administrative area or what this is. Let's look at this photo here. Solo photo. Is this... let's see. Is this the... oh, no. Oh, this is the library. This is the library. So we have to say... what is... is it really this bubble thing? Is it bubble style? I mean, it said they came out in the 80s, but I don't remember seeing them in the 90s. This is something that fell out. Oh, that's just a light. Yeah, see, look, these are the lights. One of the lights fell out. This is clearly not a light. What is this, and what is this? Is this the sprinkler, and is this the security camera? And what's the difference between the library media center and the library? Does anybody know? Is this like a different area of the library with a separate camera? If this is not a camera, what is this? So, I mean, Les Xylophone says it's bubble style. Like, what are all of these? What is this and what is this? This could potentially be some kind of shrapnel hit or bullet hole or something. Or smoke, some kind of smoke stain, maybe. This is clearly, you see the white plastic here? This looks like white plastic around something. This could potentially be the camera. I mean, this was a high-end school, so maybe they did get the bubble-style cameras back then. Let me see what else I can find on the bubble style. Can't find too much. Can't find too much on them. But you see how it has this, like... because the newer ones, like 2010s and onwards, they didn't have this extra section here. This... yeah, I don't know what this is. Is this really it? Is this really it? If that's not a camera, what is that? Les Xylophone said that's the fire sprinkler next to the camera. This clearly looks like a camera. But that's definitely a fancy wire setup, because that's going straight through the ceiling. And so that would be fed into the whatever system with the VHS recording it, if that's what it is. Unless that's a super fancy sprinkler. I've never seen a sprinkler like that before. Jeff says, that looks way too modern, but it looks like a cam. Jojo says, the years I was active in attending school was 99 to 2015, so 99, yeah. So, these are the security camera style that I remember from the time period. It would be something like this. The bubble style cams, I mean, they're almost like some kind of CIA, like cutting edge cams. Like the bubble style was like cutting edge back then, but Columbine was a really rich school, so I don't know, I guess. That's crazy if that's the camera that people are claiming don't exist. doesn't exist. So then inside the library, I did not see that. Where would that be inside the library? So if we're looking for this, if we're looking for that, does anybody see that anywhere? I don't see it. I don't see it. But I mean, this obviously isn't full coverage of the entire library, though, so... Yeah. It would be hard to find it, too, in the cafeteria photos, because you'd have to specifically have a low angle looking up like this. What's everybody's final verdict? Is that the camera? Is that the security camera? Let's look at the parking lot. So... we don't know, but potentially... Potentially, what is this? Is this potentially the camera here in the corner? One of the cameras? Maybe. That would have a lot of interesting footage, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? All the cars coming and going. Let's look at another image right here. This is from the entrance. So, I don't see... we have potentially... what is this here? Is that just a light? Or is that... there might be another one here. I don't know. It might just be a light. Try to get a little more zoomage. It could just be lights because there's two of them, so yeah, it might not be a camera. But supposedly there's multiple cameras of the parking lot. I don't know, what's the likelihood of a camera being connected to a loudspeaker? I mean, they both need wiring, but... So, we have... I don't know, what is this? Are these the cameras? Like, this looks like a loudspeaker, I can't exactly tell. Or, actually a light, that might be a floodlight, too. So, potentially here, here, here... Yeah, there's no way these are all cameras. Is there? These would be lights, I'm assuming. Well, here, it actually looks like there's more than one thing here. It looks like there's two things here. And then there's one thing here. But possibly a light, unless these are all cameras. Why would they need that many cameras? I don't think they would all be cameras, unless... I don't know, they look like... Oh no, they're definitely lights, look. They're lights on the top of poles. Yeah, these would all... Well, actually they look a little different though. This one... These two look different than this. These are not the same. These are not the same. One second here, we're getting some lag. Let me fix this. Okay, we should be good now. Yeah, I know we're spending a lot of time on these cameras, but it's really important because if this was all captured, I mean, it's basically the entire event would have been captured from the parking lots. All of the potential additional Trenchcoat Mafia members from the other high schools. Everything that happened in the cafeteria, the library hallway, administrative hallways. Full camera footage of the entire event, top to bottom. I mean, that's crazy. That's really crazy. I mean, we could go through the fire department video if you guys want to. I don't think I went through that before. Okay, Lord Zed, you are officially banned from using the word mafia from now on. Les Alphonse says, remember they also had some seniors who broke into the school and taped seniors on the ceiling and they had them on video. Oh yeah. Yeah. I vaguely remember some kind of incident like that, yes. There were incidents caught on video, multiple incidents. Do you guys want to go over the fire department video? Is there anything crazy in it? Alright, let's go over it. I don't think we haven't gone over it before, so I'm not gonna play the audio on it though. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Those look like lights. They don't, but I guess they could also have the cameras with one or two of the lights, right? Not every light necessarily would have a camera, but one of them might, and if you're running electronics anyway, you might mount a camera next to a light, I guess. I can't tell what this black boxy thing is up there. It's a shame none of the Columbine students, former students, made it to this live because maybe they might know what some of these things are or aren't. But some of them might not remember. Because some of the ones I talked to actually said they couldn't even remember if there was a camera in the library or not, much less what it would have looked like. Well, what is this thing right here? See if they get closer, possibly. What is this thing? Let me get a different color here. I can't tell what this is. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? So there was only one camera in the cafeteria, or was there more than one? What is this? I'd be curious if there were more than one. Supposedly, according to that one parent, there were 4. Oh wow, Les Xylophone says 4 cafeteria cams. Yeah, I remember there was one. How many of them were released though? 2 or 3? They didn't release all 4, did they? Were there 4 camera angles? And then supposedly another 4 in the common areas, plus library hallway, plus library, plus multiple parking lot cameras. So that's a lot of cameras. That's a lot of cameras. What is that? What the heck was that? It's like a piece blown out of the... Looks like a sprinkler on the top, maybe. Or that could all just be smoke damage, too, because this is, yeah, this is after everything went off. Wow, they had that in 1999? They had their own, like, digital screen here? This is fancy. What a fancy school. That's crazy. I remember one of the first times I saw this was like a stadium. Like a multi-million-dollar stadium. They have this in their cafeteria? What does that say? Good luck, spring sports? They had this in the cafeteria in the 90s? Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. So quite the high-end, high-tech school. Les Xylophone asks, does it say the phrase of the day? That would be crazy. Oh, they're zooming out too much. It's really slow. Hold on a second. What is this? That almost looks like one of those alarm loudspeakers with lights, right? But I can't tell. It's kind of hard to tell what that is. Or maybe, actually, it might be a camera. If it's one of those dome-style camera. But it looks like it has a different casing. That would be a different casing than the one in the library hallway, right? It looks a little bit different. Les Phone says, don't forget about Mr. Randy Controlled Opposition Brown. Yeah, we'll round out with that. I'm going to be finishing up soon here. We spent a lot of time on the cameras, but I think it's necessary. Because it's possible this entire event was fully documented by multiple cameras. And the whole cover-up of it is very telling on how they didn't release any of it. Okay, so this is going up now to the library hallway. We looked at this footage before. We have this other potential camera there. And also we have yet another... What is this? Is this... If I would guess, I'm guessing that's not a camera, but what is that? It almost looks like it's just one of those lights that blinks, like, in an emergency or whatever, like emergency lights or whatever. Right? Les Xylophone said they covered the cameras. Covered with what? Are we seeing the coverings of the camera? Why would they cover the cameras, though? Is this the camera? It's got like a weird little arm thing to it. We saw it from the other side in the other image. That'd be kind of weird if it was only... like, which way is it pointing? Or is it... Is it like an... There's no way it's some kind of like ultra-wide... Where it's like wraparound view. They couldn't be that fancy, could it? I mean, I don't know. So those are metal detectors in the library? How many libraries had metal detectors in the 90s? And when was all this installed? Fire alarm or emergency exit light to do their... They covered the cameras to do their investigation? How could that article have gotten it wrong so many days? Yeah, that might just also be some kind of a statue of something. There, what is here? Okay, this might be the best view we've gotten so far of the ceiling areas. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Where would it be? And they're so far from it, too. It's all grainy. They'd have to walk right up to the walls to see. Yeah, they're not walking to the walls, pointing up. Yeah. I mean, there's this thing. Kind of hard to tell what this looks like. A regular light, right? But what about this? What is this here? Yeah, it'd most likely be closer to the wall. Yeah, the best views would have been... Yeah, this video is just really grainy. Really grainy. So... yeah, it's too grainy. We can't really tell. There's potentially a couple things on the ceilings and walls that could be cameras, but yeah, we don't know for sure. So let's get to Les Xylophone's conversation with Randy here, and then we'll round this out. Oh, where the heck? Huh. I just put them here. Come on. Okay. Alright, let's go over this. This is the second one. Let's go to the first one first. From the sham Columbine subreddit. A lot of people don't know that this is all a sham, but Randy says, who was Dwayne Brooks was misreported as being at the top of the stairs by a detective who heard something wrong. This is proven in my book. How is it proven, though? Because you said so? Your comment is wrong and unfair. Who are you to post such blatant lies? Brooks has done nothing but tell the truth. He was lied about by the police and others. You were wrong and obviously a troll or a friend of someone involved in secret meetings and lies. Shame on you for spreading such lies. Is that psychological projection? Those are very specific accusations, right? You were wrong and obviously a troll or a friend of someone involved in the secret meetings and lies. Shame on you for spreading such lies. Sounds like projection there. Very specific psychological projection. I'm someone who has been deeply impacted by the lies and cover-ups from the events of the day. I'm not afraid of getting whacked like some of the folks that were threatened by law enforcement. Since you want to bring up secret meetings, isn't it funny that Brooks stopped being a suspect after Jeffco had that secret meeting with local and federal law enforcement? Stop playing, you know, Dwayne Fusilier. Brooks was real chummy with his sons, Scott and Eric and Dylan. There's no way you didn't cross paths before April 20th, 99. So he's pretending not to know who Dwayne Fusilier is? That's crazy. That's so crazy. I am familiar with the name Kevin Foy and his possible involvement in making crickets and a small bomb out of a cassette tape. I saw nothing in the investigative files where he planted any device on school property. Do you have supporting documentation? Are you saying that you received 7 years in prison for being involved and has never been reported? I knew you were a sham. You are close with Dwayne and had family working in Jeffco. Your son is a bad actor. Go watch his interviews. I've seen better acting in porno. That's why you and Brooks get close to the victims who saw, heard more than the official narrative. Brian Raubauer, Jen Small, etc. It's so y'all could continue to try and gaslight them into believing whatever came out of Dwayne's mouth. Why was Brooks seen with Eric at the top of the stairs? He's the one who said go, go after throwing vodka vengeance on the library roof. Oh, did I get that backwards? Yeah, I got that. Oops, we read the first one first, but yeah. Yeah, Randy is very, very shady. For sure. Let's on the phone saying, what secret meetings, though? Whatever meetings were being orchestrated by the powers that be and facilitating multi-agencies to have some kind of official narrative put out and intimidating all the over 100 witnesses who saw something different than the official narrative. Jojo says, this is probably a staged crime scene recorded hours, maybe days after the fact. Who knows? The only things we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. Yeah. Well, let me get the exact time that was recorded. So it was released to the public April 26, 2000. I don't see the exact time. Was it the day of or the day after? It's compiled following the shooting. Doesn't say whether it was within hours or whether it was the next day. Les on the phone might know. Jojo says, I heard some of the bodies were all moved too. Have you watched the full series here on Mindshock? Many students reported bodies in the hallways, and the original report said there were far more deaths. Usually it's the other way around because they don't know the people that, like, the coincidence theorists maintain that it's, it was all fog of war and confusion. Let me get this news article up. Hold on, I got another article here. Where was this? Right here. As many as 23. 2 students gunned down as many as 23. And then kill themselves. So that's 25? There was another article as well. Yeah, for some reason I can't find that. I can't find the other one for some reason right now, but... Oh, here we go. Hold on a second. So yeah, 25 dead. Which is interesting. So this is, yeah, this is the next day, and yeah, so they obviously have 25 names. 25 bodies. But the official narrative... of course, is that there were 12 students and 1 teacher that were killed, and then Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. So who are all these other dead people? Are these not students? Are these students from other high schools? Are these operators, SWAT team members that exchanged gunfire with not Eric Harris and not Dylan Klebold? These are the big questions here. It's hard to see the date on the paper, isn't it? Looks like it's the 21st, though. Wait, is it the 21st? It would have to be the 21st, right? Because the official narrative was in place by the 22nd, I believe. Jojo says, I've seen some of your videos on here on YouTube, but I've also seen documentaries throughout time. Yeah, go to the playlist. It's right in the description. Listen to the full series. It's in the description of this video as well. And I go over everything. Let's On the Phone said they had official body count before 4 p.m. on the 20th. Stone said 25 on the 20th after they did a sweep. Then they changed course days afterwards. After the same meetings, Brooks stopped being a suspect. The same meeting, they decided to bury Jeff Coe's knowledge of Eric and Dylan from 97 to 98. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things got switched up. But has usually... I mean, coincidence theories say, oh, well, they were still figuring stuff out. Well, yeah, when you don't have enough body... you might find later bodies, right? So the count would go up, not down. But coincidence theorists, I mean, they just don't have the mental capacity to understand any of these things. Yeah, I mean, there were reports of so much gunfire, and they found so many more spent shell casings than Eric and Dylan allegedly shot, and from other guns and other calibers that Eric and Dylan didn't have. I went over that briefly before, but yeah, I'm going to round this one out. So, obviously a lot of funny business with the cameras and all of that. But yeah, I'll be doing the next episode on further FBI files that haven't been released that we will go over. So I hope everybody found another edition of Mindshock interesting and informative. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.